Don't ever do that ever again. Ever.
You do, and I'll cut you.
Whoa, man! It's Sunday. It's God's day. No violence on the day. Jesus.
Yeah, so, I mean, the entire premise of the Old Testament is pretty much like, hey, to get burned like this or evil stuff.
Mic check, 1 2 3, 1 2 3, mic check.
Hey, Abby. So this is from Amy Maxwell. She says, homeowner working on his motorcycle accidentally started a fire in his outbuilding. Happened at 9:54. There were 2 vehicles that were on fire. They were able to get it out before it spread to the rest of the house. $8,000 worth in damage. He is insured. No one was hurt. This happened in Saudi Daisy. Why isn't the... Come on, man.
They said they're going to do it.
With coverage you can count on, this is Channel 3 Eyewitness News at 11.
Well, good evening and thank you so much for joining us. I'm Michelle Herron. We begin with some breaking news. A head-on crash leaves one person dead and multiple others injured. The Highway 58 Volunteer Fire Department and Hamilton County Sheriff's deputies responded to that wreck. It happened off of Mahan Gap Road in Ottawa just after 8 o'clock tonight. That crash involved multiple patients, including juveniles, and included one fatality. Two of the victims were taken to Erlanger by life force. The others were taken to the hospital by ambulance. Now, the extent of their injuries are unknown at this time. No names have been released so far, and the cause of that crash still under investigation this evening. Also breaking, police say a vehicle struck pedestrians on a road in North London, leaving several casualties. One person has been arrested. The Muslim Council of Britain said on Twitter a van struck worshippers as they were leaving the Finsbury Park Mosque. Police confirmed several people were injured. The London Ambulance Service said it responded to the incident with a number of ambulance crews, including advanced paramedics and special response teams. And another breaking news story that we are tracking right now, this one out of Saudi Daisy, where crews have been on the scene for about the last hour working a fire. We're told from officials there on the scene it started just before 10 o'clock this evening on Sevier Street. Now, apparently a man was working on his motorcycle with a little bit of gasoline when that fire started. Now, we do know that two vehicles were destroyed in that fire, about $8,000 worth of damage, but the good news is that there were no injuries, and they were able to get that fire from spreading to the remaining part of that house. So we'll have a lot more about this coming up on Eyewitness News early today and online. Well, severe weather is headed our way, so let's go ahead and head on over to meteorologist Nick Austin to find out when we can expect those storms. Hey, Nick.
Hey, Michelle, most of them will be much later tonight after midnight, but the good news is that the threat for severe weather not as bad as we thought during the earlier part of the evening, so that's good news. We're not out of the woods, but we still could see some strong winds with a few storms across the area overnight and some heavy rain too. Right now it's still pretty quiet, 78 degrees, mostly cloudy skies. It is mild and muggy and nothing too impressive on the radar right now. We have some areas of rain in Middle Tennessee and moving through Grundy County right now, and also a few spots of heavier rain moving through parts of Gilmer County at this point near LJ. So that's about all that we're seeing right now, and there are some more storms back to our south and west along with a cold front that'll be coming through overnight. So mainly after about 2 a.m. is when we'll see a lot of the showers popping up and some storms as well. Just a slight risk for severe storms. I'll have more details on that and your Monday forecast coming up in just a bit.
All right, thank you so much, Nick. Well, a local woman is mobile again thanks to a big surprise at church today. Leaders made it all possible after finding out the 74-year-old was a target of a scam. Well, now she wants to use her story to help others. Church isn't the typical place someone would go to get a new car, but it is where many turn when they're in need.
But God has truly blessed me today.
For 5 months, Betty Price has relied on her faith and the help of her fellow parishioners for transportation.
Bringing me to church, taking me back home, taking me shopping, taking me to the doctor, and everything.
The 74-year-old found herself without a car and unable to work after she says a used car salesman took her down payment.
I never received the car, never. I had the receipt at home and everything. I never received that car.
After hearing about what happened, Celebration Church pastor Michael Chitwood knew he could help. He, along with the rest of the congregation, surprised Price with a brand new, fully loaded Hyundai Sonata. The gesture leaving Price without words.
I tell you, I almost fell out when I seen the car.
The experience has opened Price's eyes to a problem thousands of older adults experience every year. The National Adult Protective Services Association reports 1 in 9 older adults say they've been abused, the highest form being financial exploitation. Price hopes she can use her experience to help others from falling victim.
People take from them, and then, like, they don't have a family. Sometimes the family take from them, and they don't have anyone to go to, and they just forget it. They just let it go.
For now, she's thankful. Her prayers have been answered. Such a sweet story there. Well, there's a couple of things that you can look out for to help becoming a victim of elder abuse, and we have a list and where you can go for help posted on WRCBTV.com. Well, what is shaping up to be the most expensive House race in U.S. history is down to its final days in Georgia. Republican Karen Handel and Democrat John Ossoff and their outside backers are trying any arguments that will coax any stray voters to the polls for Tuesday's special election. Ossoff is trying for a major upset in a district Republicans have held since 1979. But Handel is well known among Georgia Republicans. Record-setting spending on both could top $50 million in all. Heavy turnout for Tuesday's election is projected. Coming up on Eyewitness News at 11, as we celebrate our dads today, one organization is hoping no child goes without a father figure. We'll tell you more about the Miracle Foundation and what it's doing to help millions of orphans.
To see the impact that you can have in a short period of time with
On this Father's Day, there's an organization looking to lift the spirits of kids around the world who don't have fathers. As Rachel Cole reports, the Miracle Foundation helps millions of orphans, including providing much-needed male role models.
to see the impact that you can have in a short period of time with those kids, it's life-changing.
Billy Baker says volunteering for the Miracle Foundation is his way of being a father figure to millions of orphans who would otherwise go without.
There are 132 million orphans worldwide, and what the Miracle Foundation has done is they put together a methodology where they can actually measure the success and the impact they're having on the community for the rights of the kids.
He and his son, Boone, traveled to India in 2015 to meet face-to-face with kids who need a little extra love.
It was a great bonding experience for both of us. We were able to see part of the country, but to be able to dig in deep and provide a service and spend quality time with the kids who really don't have male role models necessarily.
He says the idea is to give these children a chance in the developing world to not only thrive, but survive.
Which is proper health care, proper nutrition, food, water, and education.
The Father's Day campaign is a way for the world to raise money or simply support the success of so many minors who have nowhere else to turn.
Why not contribute to the Miracle Foundation and let them do the work they do to spread those seeds for your fathers?
Baker says instead of giving a tie or tools, give to kids without dads on Father's Day.
And you can help by going to miraclefoundation.org. Severe weather is making its way into the Tennessee Valley. Nick Austin will join us with everything you need to know after the break.
You can count on. This is Channel 3 Eyewitness News.
Well, this is being called the
With coverage you can count on, this is Channel 3 Eyewitness News at 11.
In Portugal, raging forest fires have killed 61 people. The country has declared 3 days of national mourning for what the Prime Minister calls the biggest tragedy that country has seen in many years. NBC's Lucy Kafanov reports from London.
Well, this is being called the greatest wildfire tragedy in recent years, certainly one of the deadliest. There are several fires still blazing, but the deadliest one was in the Pedrógão Grande area. Police believe that the fire began on Saturday night. That's when lightning struck a tree during a dry thunderstorm about 120 miles north of Lisbon. The fire spread very quickly, engulfing the area surrounding the nearby town. It appears that many of the victims, at least 30 of them, burned to death in their cars as they were trying to flee. Their vehicles engulfed by flames on a road between two smaller towns in this very mountainous, dry, forested region. Firefighting crews have been struggling to cope. The fire described as very violent in at least 2 of its 4 fronts. The Portuguese Prime Minister saying that crews were having difficulties in accessing the area because the fire was so intense, and they've deployed about 360 soldiers to help the 700 firefighters battling the blaze.
I don't want to talk yet about the cause of the fire, because we are facing the greatest tragedy of human lives. So what we must do now is to calmly provide all the resources to fight the fires.
But this is still an ongoing situation. The European Commission getting involved, working with EU states to bring in outside help. Portugal declaring 3 days of national mourning for the victims in this blaze. Lucy Kafanov, NBC News, London.
Well, here it's going to be all about rain overnight. We're expecting some possible heavy rain, maybe some strong winds in a few spots. Right now, things are pretty quiet, though, but it's warm and muggy. Temperatures in the 70s everywhere. 78 in the city, 75 Dalton. Up in Cleveland, it's 79. Even out at the Murphy Andrews Airport, it is 70 degrees. Winds are calm at this hour, but the breezes will pick up a little bit as the cold front moves through overnight. Not a lot of rain out there right now. A few spots of rain down over Gilmer County in Georgia and points off to the east. A large area of just light rain spreading from most of Grundy County up towards Cagle Mountain right now, southern parts of Van Buren County and some other areas in Middle Tennessee. There were some heavy and severe storms over Middle Tennessee in the Nashville area earlier in the day in the late afternoon and early evening, but they have since faded out. Strong storms down near Jackson, Mississippi and out in the Plain States associated with the cold front that'll be moving through here overnight. It's losing some steam and we could see some stronger severe storms overnight, but probably not as many as we earlier expected, and the intensity might not be as high as expected. But we're not still going to rule it out that we will see later tonight, especially after about 2 a.m., between 2 a.m. and the morning drive tomorrow, that we will see some heavy spots of rain, some strong storms that could produce some damaging winds in a few areas. And it'll all move to the south across North Georgia and out towards Murphy by about the 6 to 8 o'clock range. Most of the heavy stuff might be out of the city by the morning drive, but there'll still be wet roads out there, so you need to be careful. And then through the rest of the afternoon and tomorrow evening, it looks like the best rain chances will be across North Georgia, but we're not going to roll some more returning rain or a storm late in the afternoon tomorrow here in the city, or maybe up towards Cleveland as well. Then we clear out very nicely tomorrow night. Northerly winds, drier air, and slightly cooler air as well. But we're still going to see some showers possibly coming back to the Blue Ridge Mountains and maybe up towards Murphy too during the day on Tuesday. Rain totals from overnight tonight through the day tomorrow could top an inch or maybe up to 1.5 inches in some spots, and there could be just some localized areas of flash flooding or damaging winds. But the overall severe weather threat is diminishing. We're in the lowest risk category, which is the marginal risk. That means just some isolated severe storms are possible. And again, we're mainly just concerned with some damaging winds, but especially flooding, some flash flooding. We're not worried about tornadoes or even a lot of hail with these storms. Earlier today, the airport picked up early this evening about 0.11 of an inch of rain. 88 was the high out of level field. A warm and muggy day after a start at 71 degrees for the low this morning. 89 out in Scottsboro today, 85 Dalton and Varnell, 76 up on Fort Mountain. Right here at Channel 3, we hit 88, 90 for Eastridge, 87 Lakeside, even up on Mulberry Mountain, it hit 86 degrees. And out in the Blue Ridge, it was a warm day in Murphy at 85. Our Skywatcher Dave in Turtletown had 0.2 of an inch of rain this afternoon, and Dan up in Dayton had about 0.2 as well. So showers and storms, they'll be heading our way overnight. They'll be scattered, and there could be a stronger severe storm out there with a low of 72. And then tomorrow, rain and some storms maybe early in the day, but we could see another one pop up later on in the afternoon with a high of 82. All of that fades out tomorrow night. We'll have a more pleasant night tomorrow night again with 65 for the low. Any showers tomorrow night will probably stay south. For Tuesday, just a slight chance of a shower coming back, especially south of the city, 85. And then the first day of summer on the calendar is Wednesday. And we'll get up back close to 90 for Wednesday afternoon, but the mornings will be nice. Wednesday morning down to 62 degrees. That's going to be pretty pleasant right there. Wow. So a little less muggy Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday morning. And most of the rain will be overnight and then early tomorrow. So, but at least the severe risk is not as high as we thought it was going to be. So that's good.
That is good.
You know, the chances for the severe storms are kind of decreasing.
Good.
Yeah.
All right. Thank you so
You
much,
bet.
Nick. Well, coming up next in sports, the Tennessee Titans added a veteran wide receiver to the roster. Jill Jelnick has the latest. Plus, the 2017 U.S. Open officially in the books. We'll have highlights from Aaron Hills when we come back.
If there's one thing the Titans stocked up on this offseason, it's wide receivers. Tennessee added 3 more weapons for Marcus Mariota with this year's draft picks. And now news broke tonight that Eric Decker will be joining the receiver party as well. The Titans announced that they agreed to a 1-year deal with the former Jets receiver. New York officially released Decker earlier in the month, and just this past Wednesday, Decker was spotted at the Titans practice. The veteran wideout played in only 3 games last season due to hip and shoulder injuries, but in his 7-year career, Decker has had 3,000-yard seasons and since 2012 has recorded 33 touchdowns in the red zone, the 2nd highest total in the NFL in that span. As I mentioned, he's the latest target added to the Titans roster. Tennessee also selected receivers Corey Davis, Jonnu Smith, and Taywan Taylor in this year's draft. Over on the green, it was a whirlwind of a Sunday for the final round of the U.S. Open. At the start of the day, a dozen players were within just 5 shots of the leader, but by the end of the windiest day at Erin Hills, it would all come down to just 1. Ricky Fowler got off to a great start this morning, making this birdie on the first hole to get to 11 under. But 2 bogeys on the back 9 derailed his final round, and Ricky would finish tied for 5th on the day. The overnight leader, Brian Harman, was looking to stay atop the leaderboard. He rolls the long birdie putt to the bottom of the cup for a share of the lead at 13 under, but it was 27-year-old Brooks Koepka who did not miss a beat today. Here he drains the 41-foot putt across the 8th green to get to 14 under par and hold sole possession of the lead. Then after landing his 2nd shot in the bunker there, Koepka lofts it over the flag, rolls it 3 feet from the hole. He would tap it in for a 3-shot lead, and that lead would hold. Brooks Koepka is crowned the 2017 U.S. Open champion, his first major championship of his career. Hideki Matsuyama and Brian Harman tied for 2nd, while Tommy Fleetwood finished 4th. The NASCAR Cup Series made its way to Michigan International Speedway today. Kyle Larson was your leader at the start of the Firekeepers Casino 400, and in the end, he would finish the same way. Larson won the pole and led the field into turn 1, but Martin Truex Jr. quickly makes the move here past Larson for the lead. Martin Truex Jr. would go on to win both Stage 1 and Stage 2. But then on the restart after a caution in Stage 3, Daniel Suarez here gets loose and runs into Danica Patrick in the wreck. Once everything finally settled down, Kyle Larson gets the jump and eventually the checkered flag. It's his 2nd Cup win of the season, and with the win, Larson also takes the lead in the Cup Series driver standings. Up next, NASCAR will head to Sonoma Raceway next weekend for the Save Mart 350. On Diamond, the Atlanta Braves gave dads at SunTrust Park a special Father's Day present this weekend called back-to-back wins. Atlanta came from behind last night in extra innings to get the win over the Marlins and had to battle back again today. It wasn't until the 7th inning the Braves finally got on the board here. Down 2-0 with 2 runners on, Rio Ruiz hits a sac fly to left, and that brings home Kurt Suzuki, cutting the lead to 1. Nick Markakis then keeps it going here with a single down the 3rd baseline, scoring both Johan Camargo and Ender Inciarte. Braves take a 4-2 lead, but Marlins counter with a 2-run bomb by Marcell Ozuna, tying it up at 4-4. Then bottom of the 9th, it would be Brandon Phillips, who got the walk-off hit yesterday and once again is the hero again today. He hits his 2nd straight walk-off hit right back up the middle. That brings home Camargo and gives the Braves a sweet win on Father's Day. Braves win the series over the Marlins, and next up they'll host the Giants in a 4-game set starting tomorrow. And lastly, real quick, the Chattanooga Lookouts finished the first half of the season on a strong note today, smothering the Smokies 10-2 this afternoon. As we mentioned earlier this week, the Lookouts clinched a playoff spot because they finished 1st in the Southern League North Division, so big congrats to them. So they'll take a couple days off now and get back to it on Thursday at home.
All right, we're proud of them.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
It's exciting.
Mm-hmm. Still a long season, yeah. Awesome.
Can't wait to go back to AT&T Field. I haven't been to a game in a while.
We got to go back. This
Getting that
Thursday,
itch.
they're home.
I know. Got to scratch that itch. All right, we'll take a look at what's happening for tonight. Now, later tonight and early Monday, we could see showers and some maybe heavy thunderstorms, too. Hopefully it won't be that bad during the morning commute, but roads will likely be wet even if it's not raining much anymore. 72 early in the day. Could see another storm later in the day with highs in the low 80s. Will dry out for most of Tuesday and the first day of summer on Wednesday.
All right. And in the spirit of this Father's Day, every Father's Day in Grand Island, New York, race drivers fire up their engines to see who has the fastest lawnmower in town. Sure, it's not the Daytona 500, but some of these lawnmowers are pretty fast, burning rubber as they fly down the straightaway. Others aren't so fast and seem to take forever to reach the finish line. The event got its start back in the late 60s, and hundreds of people turn out every single year for this
yeah, you can tell how that quickly became a tradition and picked up. How much fun. I love that.
Dads love their time on the lawnmower.
Yeah.
Whether it's cutting the grass or
racing
it down.
Neighbors.
Sputtering along.
Yeah. That's great.
Definitely. All right. Well, thank you guys so much for joining us. Stay with Channel 3 online, WRCBTV.com, also on Facebook and Twitter. Have a wonderful night.
If there's one thing the Titans stocked up on this offseason, it's wide receivers. Tennessee added 3 more weapons for Marcus Mariota with this year's draft picks. And now news broke last night that Eric Decker will be joining the receiver party as well. The Titans announced that they agreed to a 1-year deal with the former Jets receiver. New York officially released Decker earlier in the month, and just this past Wednesday, Decker was spotted at the Titans practice. The veteran wideout played in only 3 games last season due to hip and shoulder injuries, but in his 7-year career, Decker has had 3,000-yard seasons, and since 2012 has recorded 33 touchdowns in the red zone, the 2nd highest total in the NFL in that span. As I mentioned, he's the latest target added to the Titans roster. Tennessee also selected receivers Corey Davis, Jonnu Smith, and Taywan Taylor in this year's draft. And one quick note, 27-year-old Brooks Koepka won yesterday's U.S. Open. You can find all that and more on our website at WRCBTV.com. All right, that's it for sports. I'm Jill Jelnick. I hope you have a magnificent Monday.